Hello YouTube, and welcome back to another crafting lesson. This time it's going to be all about a helmet. A full tier 1 defense helmet that you can craft very easily for very cheap. Now, I need to disclaim everyone here that this is not supposed to be a super profit craft because this method of crafting the helmet is pretty well known by most people who are trying to craft, so it's not really very profitable unless you get lucky on one of the steps that you will see later on in the video. However, this is still a very good craft to do for yourself because if you do get lucky, you make big profits, and if you get baseline luck, then you break even. So in the end, you either get a helmet that you can resell for the same amount, or you can use for better value, or you can potentially sell for big profit if you get lucky. So please remember that the costs and everything that I've calculated in this video are at the time of recording and uploading this, so they are all subject to change. So please make sure to check the trade site and Ange and make sure you're not overpaying for the final result that you're going to be getting out of this. With all that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you're not subscribed, please do so. If you like the video, like it. If you dislike the video, dislike it. But that's enough yapping. Let's get crafting. This video is sponsored by Book of Yogg. Book of Yogg is a free-to-play idle RPG that focuses on fun epic combat using a wide range of characters, some of them being quite interesting and really pushing the boundaries of character creativity. And you can fully customize their appearance by using different skins and outfits. The game actually comes packed with a lot of different elements for different playstyles. It has the usual dungeons filled with enemies, bosses, and big loot. A PvP arena where you can take your team of badass waifus and pit them against other people's badass waifus and see who has the better team. And a roguelike game mode with some really cool abilities and combos, some of which can get pretty nuts, and personally I like this part the most. And there's a ton more. So if you're someone who likes gearing up strong characters and watching big numbers get even bigger and stronger, and you're also bored of playing Path of Exile 2 right now and don't know what to do while waiting for Path of Exile 1, then consider giving Book of Yogg a try by taking a look at their Steam page linked in the description. Thank you to Book of Yogg for sponsoring this video, and now let's get right back into it. Okay, to start, we're going to be grabbing just one divine for this craft because this is supposed to be super simple. I probably won't even use that one divine, and I'm going to remove all of the excess currency and toss it into a random tab. Then we can begin. Okay, so with this one divine, I'm going to break it into exalts because that will make this way easier. 1051 eggs, 70 eggs from one divine. And now we can begin. So first things first, you want to go ahead and buy a bunch of bases with tier 1% ES and tier 1 flat ES. Now for the percent, there isn't really a way to search for just tier 1% without the trade site adding in the other percentages into that as well. So you do have to be careful and really look at the base. So if you hover over the percent ES mod, you can see on the left that it has 3 tier 1 ES mods. So this one is pretty good, but if I was to refresh this search and look at this one now, it says 102% ES, which looks like more than tier 1, but it's actually tier 4% ES plus tier 2 hybrid. So you don't want that. You want to just click this to sort by the highest ES and then go down the list this way and just keep a maximum exalted orb number so that you don't end up getting very expensive results. So here 40 to 50 eggs is a humble amount. So I'm going to buy a bunch of these bases with tier 1 ES as well as tier 1 flat, and then I'll be back. Okay, here we go. I'm back and I have a bunch of bases. So these are all percent ES bases, tier 1 with a bunch of other ES mods on them, and these are all flat ES. So I paid roughly 25 to 30 eggs each on average for all of these. So I now have around 820 exalts left. Now this doesn't cost much in exalts, but this does cost a decent amount in gold. So each of these rare bases with 6 modifiers on it costs like 30k gold to buy. So buying all these bases cost me a decent chunk of gold. So keep that in mind. But now the next step, you are going to need some other things. First, you will need some order artifacts, and these are super cheap. You just need like 20x worth of these. Not even that much, that's way too much. Like 10x worth of these. Also costs a decent chunk of gold. And then you will need some Omen of Recombinations. These are so cheap and they just save you a bunch of time and especially a bunch of gold in the end. So do this. Now I'm gonna buy 5 because I think I have 5 bases. So 5, 200x, that's okay. And I'm going to grab all of my helmets. I have 4 bases actually, but flat. I don't have enough, but it's okay. And now it's time to recomb them. So TLDR, the way recombinators work is they allow you to select one mod on one item and another mod on another item. It shows you a chance of success for this to go through, and if it goes through, the final item will have both of these modifiers on it, and then you're happy. Right, that's essentially and basically how it works. If you select more than one mod, more than 2 mods, the odds go down quite a bit. And if you select higher tier mods, the odds are also low. But in the case of tier 1 ES and tier 1% ES, the odds are not that low. And the lucky recombination just makes this roll twice essentially. So you don't have to think too much about that. It's just take whatever the chances you have here and whatever is half of that chance, add it in. So the half of 17% is 8.5%. So 17% plus 8.5 is 25-ish%. So this has a 25% chance of succeeding. So you should, in theory, succeed every 4 helmets. So let's see how many I succeed in. So turn the recombinator on, the Omen on, and recomb. You can skip the long animation by just closing the overlay and reopening it. So that one failed. It's okay. Go again. Right, here we go. Attempt number 2. Skip and go again. That one succeeded. There we go. We have 1 base. You don't need any more than 1 base. You're essentially just done right here. And now you can proceed and finish the entire helmet in like 2 steps. But just for the hell of it, let's just see how many more I could have hit, just to show you guys the potential odds and the potential unluck that can happen here. So skip, open, I hit 2 of them, and then 1 more attempt. Let's see if I hit this one as well. Here we go. This has the highest percent ES roll, so let's see. This would be nice if I hit. I did hit. Okay, so that's I hit, instead of a 1 and 4, I had a 3 and 4. That's not supposed to happen. But hey, when have I not said that in one of these videos? So here we go. We have all 3 of our bases ready to go. You see, these already have like a massive amount of ES on them just from existing. Except for this one, this needs quality and a rune socket. But anyway, now for the next steps. So I'm going to take my exalts out again just to show. Now I have 600 left after buying the artifacts and the recombs. So now I'm going to buy 1 homogenizing omen. So 155, 1 homogenizing omen. Actually, let's buy 2 more and do all the bases, just to show that you can actually make quite a few bases. Oh, come on. Really? And then we will need 3 greater exalted orbs. Really? 3 prefix exalts. 210 exalts left, which is going to be more than enough. So for the next step, pretty simple. Since we already have the main 2 defense tags on the item, which is big percent and big flat, now, so if you look over here on this item, you can either get flat energy shield, percent ES, or one of these 2 hybrid ES mods on your item. The main ones are the flat and the percent, right? These are the big ones. These are the ones that you need to be tier 1. That is why we recombed them first. Now, when we homogenize the prefix, we are guaranteed to hit either this or this. And they both have the exact same numbers for ES. This one just has ES with mana, and this one has ES with life. Now, life is arguably better for some builds, especially builds that are not going CI, which is chaos inoculation, so their life doesn't go to 1. So life could be good, but it doesn't really matter. In the case of the helmet, no one really looks at, or if it has a hybrid life or hybrid mana, they just buy whatever or use whatever. So before we do this though, now if you can see, since this is a 50-50 on hitting life or mana, if we hit the life one, it will add a life tag to the item. So then afterwards, when we are homogenizing for these suffixes, we have a chance to hit life regen per second. Now you don't want this. So to avoid this, you will be working on the suffixes first and finishing the suffixes first before you complete this step. So let's quickly do that. So for the suffix, you need to buy a Omen of Dextral Necromancy. Let's get one of those. And you need a rib. Now these are going to be extremely cheap. These are like 1:3 eggs, so I don't even know why I'm bothered buying it like this. And then obviously you will always go for a reroll Omen because you just have to. You just have to. You don't want to get unlucky and then need to Omen of Light or just completely brick your base in the process. So I'm only going to do this on one base first, just to show. So Omen of Dextral Necromancy, Preserved Rib, boom. There is now a Desecrated Suffix. Activate your reroll Omen, and now let's quickly go over to the Well of Souls and get this done. Alright, so in the Well of Souls, Desecrated Suffix, you want to unveil any resistance mod in the entire game, anything at all, just take it. Not 6%. Not 6%. So if you can take 6% if you want, you can take that. Okay? Or you can reroll, but the problem with rerolling is if you reroll and you miss, and if you don't see another res, if the game is super unlucky to you, then you're kind of boned. Because then the base is bricked. You don't want to Omen of Light this base or even annul the base, because that literally costs more than every single step you've done so far. So I'm gonna just risk it. Thank God. Now unfortunately, I will not have enough currency to finish off the other two helmets. My math was wrong. I will not be able to finish it using just one divine worth of exalts, because I will need to buy another homogenizing and another reroll Omen, and I won't have enough. But that's okay. One base in under a div is still pretty damn good. Now I realized that I cannot finish the other two helmets with the one divine worth of exalts, so I'm only going to be finishing one of these, but the promise was to make this helmet under one divine, and that is what I'm doing right here. So, homogenizing Omen now, plus we will need a Suffix Exaltation Omen, that is 7x. We will need a Greater Exaltation Omen. These are super cheap, these are 1 for like 3x. Okay, so here we go. Suffix step, we use the Homogenizing Omen with a Greater Exaltation and a Omen of Dextral Exaltation to only hit your suffixes. Now this ideally will give you 2 more resistances. Now again, if this selects the defense tag, this will give you ES Recharge as one of the modifiers. You're not too unhappy with that, since ES Recharge isn't a completely dead stat anymore, because people do want that on their builds, so do remember that. But ideally though, triple res is going to be better, so hopefully that is what I hit. Here we go, 3, 2, 1, boom. I hit tier 2 chaos res and tier 5 lightning. Now this is a heavy chaos res helmet. The only problem with hitting chaos res is most people are not searching for chaos res. So getting this helmet to show up in people's searches isn't easy. However, this is a very valuable helmet, like getting almost, almost 40 chaos res from a helmet is really good, especially if you're not CI. So now that that is done, final step, Super easy. One more homogenizing exalt and a prefix exalt along with one greater exalted orb. Super simple final step. Just activate these omens, slam your item, and just hope that you hit a high tier of hybrid ES. You may ask, why not use a perfect exalt if you really want to guarantee high tiers? Well, because it doesn't really do anything. A greater exalt gives you modifiers above modifier level 35. So in this case, above tier 4 hybrid. And a perfect exalt gives you modifiers above modifier level 50. So that would give you tier 2 or tier 1. However, since a perfect exalt is so much more expensive, it's literally more than the entire cost of the helmet, and because it doesn't do much when it comes to just the hybrid roll, it'll just give you a little bit more ES in the end, so it's not worth it in my opinion. But if you want to do this for yourself, hey, go nuts. But here we go. Greater Exalted Orb with the Homogenizing Omen. Boom. Also, you didn't need to use the Prefix Omen, now that I'm thinking about it, because the open slot is only the prefix. So comment before you say that and get upset at me. I'm broken. But anyway, I hit tier 3, so that is the lowest tier that I could have hit with the Greater Exalt, but that's okay. That is unlucky, by the way, because the odds of hitting all of these are the same. The tiers don't get rarer as you go higher, it's the exact same odds, so I just got super unlucky. That's okay. So this is now the final item that you have. So let's quality this up and see exactly how much this ES actually is. So 469 energy shield without a socket, and then with a socket this goes up to 507 energy shield for a helmet that you spent under 1 divine on. So this homogenizing omen is still here, these other helmets are still here if you want to craft on those too, and I spent a little bit more on the extra bases that I have over here for this helmet. So with all that being done, I could have saved up around 300 or so exalts in the end if I wasn't doing this in like a lot of bulk helmets and I went one by one. So you can see how easy this is. However, is this a profit or is this just a craft for yourself scenario? Let's quickly go and check. Alright, so here we can see a few helmets. So the cheapest one with triple res, doesn't matter the tiers, like tier 3, tier 4, tier 3, is 2 divines with a similar amount of ES that my helmet has. This one has a lot of res and it's also 2 divines. So it is going to be roughly 2 divines. There's nothing cheaper than that if you want triple res. Now in my case, I had chaos res and hybrid res as my modifiers, so that is not really going to show up in these searches. If I search for double res, by the way, then the prices of this go way down. So the double res helmets are much cheaper than triple res. You can see here there's like 1 annul, 400 exalts for this one with double res and ES recharge rate. So if you want to just go ahead and buy these, go ahead and buy them. Because again, since this craft is super common, a lot of people are just churning these helmets out left and right. The main way you can potentially profit is by corrupting your helmet with a second socket, and then the price of this will go up from the 400-ish eggs here, or the 2 divines if you have 3 res, to multiple divines if you can hit a second socket. So keep that in mind. Again, I want to mention, do not do this as a profit craft. Please do this as a make for yourself kind of craft, okay? Because if you do try to make this for yourself, you could get lucky and hit triple tier 1 ES on the prefixes, and you could hit triple res on the suffixes with a good unveil and good other stuff. And if you hit that, then you're in the money with like bare minimum 1 divine of profit. You can sell it for like 2 div, which would be super nice. So this guy here, for example, I don't know how he just showed up, but he has hybrid res plus the 2 normal res So this, if you hit this, 2 div, easy peasy. And now that we're done with that, and you know, it's time for the finale, which will be to val this helmet and see if I can hit a second socket on this. So let's do that. So Omen of Corruption, 29x. Let's just include that in the total cost because why not? And then let's grab a val from my red tab of vals. We're gonna grab one from here this time. If you saw the last video, you know what happened with the val that was over here. We're not gonna talk about that. But now, Omen of Corruption, Val Orb. Come on, give me the second socket. Boom. Who saw it? Did anyone see it? Hey, look at that! I actually hit the second socket on an absolutely terrible resistances, suffixes helmet. Well, that's okay. So now, if I was to socket this in, the value of this isn't gonna be super high because the prefixes aren't that well defined. The flat is low roll, the hybrid is low roll, the percent is high roll, but it's not high enough. But 544, yes, let's see if that makes any substantial difference. That's gonna be like 9 div. So this is corrupted with yes on the implicit. Why did this guy corrupted it with 18% quality? We will never know. So around 10 div, so you can see how you can make potentially a lot of profit if you get lucky on your corruption. So these are triple tier ones with a corrupted second socket or a corrupted ES implicit. So that is how you can potentially make profit out of this. However, generally speaking, this is not supposed to be a profit craft. This is supposed to be, again, a craft for yourself kind of thing. So that is how you would do that on the budget end with just one divine. So I hope that helps. Now there is a way to craft this with a 2-socket helmet. So if you guys want to see that, I can make that video as well. But I don't really recommend making the 2-socket ones because they're way more expensive to get into and it's basically similar RNG and you can get way worse luck on that. And then you could, instead of breaking even, you could potentially go into the negatives if you try to craft a 2-socket one currently with the RNG methods that are in the game. So I wouldn't recommend it, but if you guys want to see that, I can upload that as well. So that is the end of the video. I hope you guys learned a thing or two or you had fun watching it. And a disclaimer again, if you are going to attempt this craft, just remember that you're doing this for your own characters, not essentially the profit craft, but you might be able to make some big profit in the end if you hit tier 1 hybrid and if you manage to get a second socket. It could be very huge. Even if you hit triple tier 1s without an extra socket, it could be super huge if you have well rolled prefixes and good resistances on the suffix. But that'll be all from me. Good luck with your crafts and go out there and cause some chaos. Bye bye. And a big shout out to all my patrons: Marcus, Axel Jacobs, Bridgeburner, Sebi2k, Creative Extent, and Darkar. Thank you all so much. The support that you guys show every single day in the Discord and just in my mind knowing that you guys are there in the background just helps push me forward. But just thank you so much and I'll see you all next time.